Alright, so here's my thoughts on the current witch talk drama. What's that? We're not doing that? I'm not allowed? There's something else? Can I talk about Plotinus then? Okay, cool. Plotinus then. Shalom everybody, we're going to talk about an important term. We're going to talk about Telesma and the Telesmata. Let's learn a little something. Let's learn how magic works here. We're going to talk about the Telesma. So Telesma comes from the Greek word telesma, meaning something brought to completion, something fulfilled towards an end. So at its most basic level, the telesmata is matter that's been completed for a purpose. It's not just an object. It's not just like an object or a symbol. It's matter that's been shaped, ordered, and completely finished in such a way, I have hair in my eye, that it serves a specific function beyond the raw physical state. So we get this idea. This bursts out, help all girlies, hey, right here, jingle, Neoplatonic thought. So in Neoplatonic thought, especially when we talk about the work of Iamblichus and my boy Proclus, the idea is very metaphysically precise when we talk about how objects work in magic. So, for Iamblichus, the cosmos was structured as a kind of hierarchical chain of being. The one radiates through the divine intellect, that radiates through the soul, radiates through nature, and finally matter. So, the one, the nous, soul, nature, matter. Nothing in reality is cut off from its source because of this. So all matter contains traces or signatures of the divine order. So we create ritual objects that don't force the gods to descend, but rather, and they don't manipulate the divinity. Rather, they use this chain and are constructed according to the correspondences that already naturally exist in them, because they are part of that chain. So a telesma works in the system because it's participating in a divine series. So when we arrange matter according to the proper symbols and cosmic alignments, it becomes receptive to the divine presence that moves down. So like my necklace. At its base, why are we getting sound all of a sudden? We've had no sound all night. At its base, my necklace doesn't do anything. But, so it doesn't create power, it just becomes receptive once I use it within magical means. So it becomes a focus where this higher order begins to manifest. So where we go from this has a trace of divine. Now, by using ritual word, ritual language, and action, we start to arrange it and fit it into the cosmos. Now, while Iamblichus, we're missing a lot of stuff, and he leaves some stuff very vague, my boy Proclus goes even further with this. And he talks about the doctrine of participation. So every lower reality participates in the higher reality according to its proportion. What's this mean? Every god extends through a chain that runs from the intelligible down into the material world. So certain materials naturally will belong to certain divine chains. Gold participates in the solar chain. Particular plants or stones may participate in other chains. This is, everybody's got a correspondence chart. Everyone's got a little fun book with a correspondence chart. These go back to Agrippa and go back further to Proclus, where he says these divine chains, everything in nature connects to them. So when ritual art gathers material that belong to the same series and shapes them correctly, what you get is an object that is now intensified on that chain. It is a stronger link in that chain. And so the telesma is the completed form that sits properly in the divine hierarchy. Think of it as like a funnel point. It's a convergence point where the higher and the lower meet and marry. Irosgamos. This is where we take as above and we take so below, and we marry them within the Telesma using ritual art and ritual language. Now, this idea doesn't just stay in Neoplatonism. I thought this was going to be a two-part video. This might be a one-part, because this moves on into our Latin medieval thought too, where we shifted a little bit, and we talk not just about the participation in the chain, but we begin to talk about another important term known as virtus. Now, virtus is not moral virtue. It's the virtue of something. Agrippa, think Agrippa's correspondences. It's the potency and the force and the operative power that is inherent within something. So, before this is a telesmata, it contains a level of virtues. When you inscribe the symbols, we line it up in the chain, where this becomes now not just a material with virtues, but a telesmata that then contains the power that is in the divine hierarchy and allows as above, so below to happen in the very jewelry I'm wearing. So this is where we start to see the relationship between the talisman and the virtues. While the virtues is the power itself, it's the active potency. The talisman is then that potency properly completed when we've finally done the oils and the rites and the ritual and the words and the consecration. So, I got this off Wish. Yeah, I got this off Wish forever ago. It's just a silly little chain. But it is a chain that has certain materials. It is made of a metal. It has glass. It has certain symbols. It holds a level of virtus, but not enough that could be worked with. So then, taking the silly little wish necklace and consecrating it, be it the Helios consecration, be it use of care nips, be it the supreme invoking ritual of the pentagram, whatever you're doing, is aligning it in this hierarchy so that the chains link to it and forge stronger, so that now this becomes a telesma. It becomes a telesmatic image. It is an image of its perfected virtue. So when matter is deliberately arranged according to the correspondences, timing, form, all of this, we intensify that virtues, and we create a telesma. Now, Renaissance figures, such as two important names people should know, Marsilio Ficino and, of course, Agrippa, they also inherit this framework, and they talk about celestial virtues, planetary virtues, occult virtue, and keep this Neoplatonic skeleton to it, where the idea is that the cosmos is ordered, forces descend through, art can align matter within these, a gold disc that is engraved at the proper hour. It doesn't invent the solar influence, but it concentrates solar virtues because gold participates in the solar chain already. And a lot of this framework is where we get our idea of consecration, of the idea eventually this becomes talismans, where we get our idea of the occult correspondences of herbs, where we get like X color is tied to Y thing, X plant is good for this, because we're bringing we're looking at the virtues of it, and then we're aligning it with ritual language to elevate the virtues to a stronger chain, so it becomes a telesma that we then take forward as a telesmatic figure. I know it's a lot, but we did get through it. I got 15 seconds. I'm back from the flu, and we're back at things. May your ancestors bring you the sweetest of portents. May you all have the most wonderful of dreams. May you stay warm, and may you stay safe. Shamu, everybody.